Pledge.
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Anything for approval of the agenda? Anything? Dan, do you have anything?
We do.
Okay. We'll have that under committee and board reports. Anything else? Motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded.
Who seconded it?
Phil. All in favor? All righty. And public forum, public comment on non-agenda items. Anyone? Anything? So much for public forum. Approve the minutes of January 27th.
As submitted.
Motion's made by Dan to approve it submitted, seconded by Jason. All in favor? There you go. And committee and board reports. Dan?
Okay, it's Monday, February 3rd, 2025. Open the meeting at 5 p.m. with a motion to enter executive session per policy BEC-C, discussion of labor contracts and proposal between the board and its negotiators per 1 MRSA 4056D. They came out of executive session at 6:20 p.m. and started the regular public meeting at 6:25 p.m. Dr. Cooper started off by just giving a quick update on the recent hiring of the individual that was arrested in New Hampshire for embezzlement, and she had stated that it hadn't gone through the full process and they had decided not to hire that individual. Then it was opened up for public comment. A couple of folks stood up, public comment. One individual had a petition with 40 some odd signatures, I believe it was, to not allow transgender students to play on girls' sports team. A couple of folks stood up in support, a couple of folks stood up in opposition. There was nothing for recognition reports. Abigail did talk about, she was at a girls' basketball game, and there was, some parents and stuff that kind of talked about staff appreciation and how appreciative they are of the staff. So she mentioned that. Let's see, consent agenda items. There was approval of an overnight trip for the state ski team from Kennebunk High School. 10 students for February 23rd to the 25th. It's $89 per student, and that money is coming from the athletic fund. There was a little bit of discussion on the actual form itself, who were chaperones. None of that was on the information. So the board has requested that any future asks for overnight trips have all of that information present. Superintendent did not have a report. There were no committee reports. The only other thing that they talked about after that was a discussion of annual school board goals. Students reps had talked about maybe adding some things for goals from the school board to maybe monitor students' well-being, maybe frequent check-ins on plans after high school. There were lots of discussion on this whole issue from board members. Matt, talked about all of he had got information from all the different members. I didn't write all of it down, but they're kind of compiling all of that and kind of put it all together for future meetings. At 8:30, they went to executive session per 1 MRSA 4056A for evaluation officials, appointees, and employees. I didn't stick around. I left after that.
Okay,
That's it.
that's it. Thank you very much. How about the manager's report?
Yes, as you recall, at your last, I think it was your last meeting, the Housing Trust Board had requested that we have a member, not only as a official member would be the town manager, but a member of the board that would serve on their trust board as well. The question was asked of you folks whether or not we could appoint somebody to serve in that capacity for us. The answer I got back was yes, you can. So I guess the next thing would be, who do we want to appoint? If you have anybody that you would like me to reach out to see if they're interested in serving on this board, fine, I can do that for you. I think the first meeting I will attend regardless of whether or not we have somebody else coming to it. I have a sense of what that's all about. So please, anything that comes up, just let me know and I can reach out to those folks and see if they're interested and bring their names forward for you guys to appoint. I don't think there was any date, any length of service. I think it's up to the select board as to how long they serve at your pleasure. The next thing I have was at our last at the fire building committee for the fire department, we had went over the RFP proposals for engineering, architectural services. Obviously, it will be over the $20,000 limit, so it needs to go out to RFP. I guess what I'm looking for now is, what date do you want it to come back? Right now, we're into February. I would say maybe March, have it coming back, these RFPs. I've got probably 4 or 5 architect engineering firms that I would send them to for them to get their information into us. We can give them a little bit of a overview of what we have now in terms of that. But I think physically you probably want to speak to these boards, and by then we may have a better sense of the design, the final design piece that we worked on at the last meeting. So is there a date in March that meets everybody's approvals? Think I should have it during maybe have a meeting prior to the select board's meeting on a Monday night? Have them come in maybe 6:30 or so and start talking with you folks? Or do you want them to come to the committee and make their presentations to the committee on a night of them? So I'm up for suggestions. I have no issue one way or the other.
I was thinking.
20th, you guys are closed 21st.
What was
Yep.
that date again?
Thursday the 20th.
Thursday the 20th?
Yeah.
Okay, in the committee too? Committee or just the board?
No, everybody. I think the committee should be there too.
Okay. All right, so I'll send these RFPs out this week. We'll have them come back on a March 20th, and hopefully we'll have the ability to meet with some of these folks.
So it is a plan so we're asking to have those by March 20th, and then we'll review them at the following meeting.
We're gonna have these companies come forward who want to help us with our architectural. Then they'll come and they'll make a presentation to you folks
Okay.
as to what they can offer.
Right.
And then you folks will make a decision as to which firm you would like to work with.
Right, so the 20th is the date that we want them to come and
Sure.
show their stuff. Yeah, I just want to make sure what we're
Yeah.
getting on the 20th.
Does that sound,
But by the 20th, we wouldn't have seen the proposals that have come back, got them on the same day.
I was just.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should ask for
Okay.
them to be back on the 20th. We look at them and on the 24th, and then we make a decision on the 24th on who we would like to see.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds good. I'll get those out. The other thing too that came up at that meeting was if there was a height restriction on radio masts, communication towers within the ordinance. There is not. It's non-applicable, exempt for those things. So I think that got settled. I am meeting with the planning board on the 18th to go over our request for the lot consideration, as well as we're going to review the change in the street design and construction ordinance in reference to the petition process. As you recall, we wanted to try to put the citizen petition take where there is a more of a skin in the game for the developer and or the petitioners to get the necessary signatures to have that go forward to a warrant. So that's going to be on the 18th. I told them I'd come in and make a quick presentation to them to help them along. So.
Okay. Anything more on that? We're all set there? And under business, liquor license renewal for Vandalup.
Yes, I have, I think I gave you a copy of the renewal license, a little different than we've had in the past. I guess now it's all done online. So Vandalup went ahead and received the paperwork online, filled it out, and then hand brought that in. The issue I had with it was there's no sheet to provide approval to the for the select board to say, okay. So what I did is I had the clerk put together a sheet that's on so if you give approvals tonight, the sheet, I will pass it on down and you can sign on terms of Vandalup, either getting approval, denial. Been reviewed. There doesn't seem any objections to staff in reference to approval for the renewal of their liquor license.
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We approve the liquor license renewal for Vandalup.
The motion been made by Dan. Do we have a second? Seconded by Jason. Any questions? All in favor? There you go. Yeah, that is.
All right.
Isn't it?
I have it. It's the whole packet's here, and then I have please here for you folks to sign. So.
There you go. Okay, let's go on to the RSU 21 budget validation.
Yes, we received a warrant and notice for election calling for RSU 21. It's pretty similar to what you've had in the past. I have the originals here. They will require your approval and signatures on the back of it to move forward. Evidently, it's for the validation referendum election to be held on Tuesday, June 10th.
The date was that Tuesday, the 10th, you said?
Tuesday, the 10th. Yep.
Need a motion for one?
I think so. Yep.
Motion's been made by Jason. Do we have a second?
Second.
Yeah, seconded by Tom. All right, all in favor?
We don't have much choice, but
Yeah.
I think it's more from out. They're both right there, so.
And the CSX Railroad ties replacement in Arundel.
Yes, it appears that the email that I received was a sort of a blanket email providing folks along the rail corridor of the efforts going to be put in by CSX to replace some of the railroad ties in specific locations within the rail system. Identified the three locations within Arundel, River Road, Log Cabin Road, and Whispering Fern Way seem to be the three roads that may be affected. Again, they're telling us tentatively set for March 31st. We'll have to wait and see what kind of notice they provide to us. Obviously, once we know, we'll let our public safety folks, highway department know, fire department and police, the sheriff's office know what's happening. So I'm sure that I haven't looked at all the notifications here, but they could have probably sent that to the sheriff's office as well. It does say York County, Maine in here, so they did. They sent it to them as well. So they should have at least preliminary notice, but what? I would assume they're gonna be one at a time, but I'm not sure. I know they come in with a vast amount of equipment. I've seen the systems working on the rails. I guess they have this huge couple of pieces of equipment that actually sit on the rail itself, go along, take the rails off, pick the ties up, replace them, and then put new rails down in some cases. So I'm not sure if they're going to do them all at the same time or one every other day, or we'll know better when we get closer. But
So they saying that they could close the roads up to 4 days?
that's what it says. 1 to
Why-
4 days closure.
Why do they need to close the road? There's no railroad ties on the roads.
Well, they'll be moving equipment in and out, probably along that roadway. It's probably their only access if they're not on the rail bed themselves in order to get equipment.
Where did you say, you said that they're storing the ties somewhere?
They're storing them on Willie Hill Road in Wells, going to the transfer station. If you know where the transfer station is off
Yeah,
of 9B.
Yeah,
They're down in there. They've done extensive work on that end, so I'm sure they're working their way around.
yeah, I would have thought that they transfer all that stuff by rail. They pick it up and bring it by rail and
I would think so.
doesn't make sense that they have to close the road, but that's their job, I guess.
Yeah, and I hope
Sometimes it may be more of a universal contact too, simply because they do a lot of cities and larger metropolitan areas. So maybe the roads are, closed for good. I'm not sure.
because you can't close both the River Road and the Log Cabin Road at the same time.
Well, I was curious as to why they were going to close Log Cabin Road or River Road, because the bridge, I mean, that carries. Well, no, that's on Senate. Rivet Road's got a crossing.
Yeah.
Senate's got the bridge there. Log Cabin Road's right to the left of that, so I'm not quite understanding why they would have to close that section of the road to do that piece. And Whispering Fern Way, I believe is just a
Greg
house.
Wires.
Yeah, that's just going into Greg Wires off Log Cabin. Not Log Cabin, off of
No.
Old
off
Elf.
of Old, yeah,
Oh God, now you got me thinking
Yeah.
about it.
Old Route 1A.
Yeah, it's old Route 1A, that's right. So anyway,
Post Road.
Post.
Post Road.
Old Post Road,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you, Velma.
Yeah.
It took us a while to get there.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
don't
glad
want,
it's
I don't know
not-
why they'd have to close anything along that route too, because they're not really crossing a road there. But anyway,
But it's a crossing. They actually do have a crossing there.
at Whispering Firm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Must
they
be
have
at the
their-
very end.
They have their own cross, yeah, at the end, after their driveway, I guess, when you go by the house, they have a crossing right there.
Oh, wow, I never knew
That's-
that.
Yeah, and that's the only ones I think that the railroad left open as a crossing. I think they have business on the other side of the railroad track, so that they can only get to from their driveway.
Oh. That's an interesting
I
concept.
think that's why
Okay.
whenever they were closing all the extra crossings, they petitioned and they kept that one open.
Okay.
I think it's private. I think the only ones that can use it are them, and I think they have a gate there, but
So as soon as I get more information, obviously I'll pass it on to you folks and all of our powers to be.
okay. And the payables warrant.
So move.
Motion's made. Do we have a second? Phil, seconded by Phil. All in favor? Yeah. All righty. Anything else?
The only thing I'm wrapping up my final pieces of the budget, so we'll be meeting here soon. I looked at my records and a lot of my forms were in the middle of February by the time I really had them finalized. So I'm pretty close to finalizing now, so we'll have them in front of you as soon as we can.
Anything else? Anyone? Yeah. Motion to adjourn by Jason.
7:24.
Yeah, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Phil. All in favor? There you go. Thank you.
Thanks. Sweet.